In this video, I'll walk you through what it takes to buy and set up a vineyard and help you decide if it's a good idea or a terrible idea. I'm David Hargreaves of Brewings & Hargreaves, a Sonoma County realtor working with clients to buy and sell vineyard properties. I know for many people watching this, you've got a dream of one day owning a vineyard property where you wake up to sunrise, looking out over the vines and making your estate wine from the grapes grown steps from your door. So in this video, I want to provide a comprehensive overview that covers all the key steps in making that dream a reality. From finding the optimal site for your vineyard, to the permitting process, developing the vineyard, choosing vineyard support partners, all the way to selling the fruit from the vineyard. My goal is to equip you with everything you need to evaluate the options, the costs, and effort required so you can decide for yourself if you want to pursue your ideal vineyard lifestyle. So first up, choosing an optimal vineyard property site. The very first step is identifying the location. Now, for some buyers, focus squarely on winemaking, factors like soils, sun exposure, suitability for targeted grape varietals will be the most important thing. However, many prospective owners view vineyard estates as part of a lifestyle choice, part of the winemaking endeavor. So preferences around amenities, communities, recreational options, and more also comes into play. Not to mention the resale potential. If your decision is very much a lifestyle one, you'll want to then really explore the different areas in the Sonoma County AVAs and towns, because that's going to be the most important thing. Compare coastal areas versus inland areas. You should research communities from Santa Rosa over to the Sonoma Valley and up to Healdsburg and even north beyond that up to towns like Cloverdale. There are important differences in terms of pricing, climate and weather, the neighbourhood character and so much more. I'm happy to guide you through those key location considerations based on what it is you're looking for. Now, in terms of cost, existing planted vineyards today fetch around $100,000 to $150,000 per acre for top appellations, sometimes more for really exceptional sites. As a benchmark, a 25-acre Guerneville property with 19 planted acres of Sauvignon Blanc recently sold for $2.35 million, or just under $100,000 per acre. So keep in mind, if the property has a living structure on it, this also represents significant value in your vineyard estate purchase. Different regions will vary in price based on the relative desirability of both the vineyard or potential vineyard and the proximity to a popular centre for real estate investments. For example, properties in and around Sonoma and Healdsburg continue to see strong appreciation given the growth in restaurants and accompanying lifestyle amenities. So now let's talk about the permitting requirements for new vineyard developments. Okay, so you found your perfect vineyard property. Congratulations, but before you can begin planting and rolling out the vines, you have some regulatory hoops to jump through. Any new vineyard plantings or modifications to existing vineyards require permitting through Sonoma County. For an entirely new vineyard, you must submit detailed plans with in-depth soils, geological, grading, and environmental studies. These ensure your planting meets various county guidelines related to agricultural practices, proper water usage, and other ecological factors. Approvals also call for public notices and potential community hearings to address any concerns over things like landscape impacts or increased traffic through agricultural traffic. And given the thorough review from multiple county departments, you should expect this to take around 6 to 12 months to receive your final permits. The timeline can be shorter when replanting existing vineyards in exactly the same footprint. So with no changes to trellising, irrigation, or layout, some replants may only need a basic agricultural grading permit. But if you introduce any modifications at all, that will trigger the full permitting process I just described. So if you do purchase vineyard land already planted, but it needs replanting, scrutinize the existing infrastructure and systems closely. Sticking with what's there makes the road so much smoother when it comes to replanting the new vineyard. So the next thing is investing in the key vineyard infrastructure. Okay, so pillars now in place, now the fun begins. Before vines go into the ground, some key infrastructure investments are needed to support healthy grapes and simplify farming operations. First, you'll absolutely want assurances that your wells can support present and future vineyard needs. Mature vineyards consume substantial water, or can consume substantial water, around 1 to 3 acre-feet annually per acre, depending on the soils and farming approaches. So that probably sounds a bit technical. Basically, translation is vineyards are thirsty. In Sonoma County, this is particularly important as there are discussions around starting to charge landowners across the whole county for pulling water from the ground for agricultural purposes. In areas such as Sonoma Valley, a groundwater sustainability fee has just been introduced on all groundwater users in the Sonoma Valley. So with water secured, establishing the physical vineyard itself comes next. You'll need to rip out the old vines if there are any, regrade the site, install new trellis posts and wiring systems, get the irrigation laid out, and then finally plant the vines. As a general rule of thumb, you can plan around $30,000 per acre on the low end for redeveloping vineyard sites. On the higher end, installations with advanced trellis systems and drip irrigation costs can approach and even go over $50,000 per acre. Then the vines themselves will add further costs, running $6 to $7 a piece for grafted rootstock. With typical density of 800 to 1,600 vines planted per acre, that's nearly $10,000 more just on vine materials alone, and that's per acre. Suffice to say, establishing your dream vineyard comes with very real infrastructure investments, but the rewards will be well worth it. So next, choosing grape varietals. Now it's time for one of the most exciting decisions you'll make as a vineyard owner: what to plant. Your grape varietal selections will certainly impact yields, flavour profiles, and ultimately the quality of any wine you intend to produce. But many factors should weigh into those choices. Of course, personal wine preferences will be important. If you love robust Cabernets, for example, planting ample acres of high-quality Cabernet vines is likely part of your dream. But it's also critical to pair those preferences with varietals well-suited to the unique soils and sun exposures, drainage and microclimates found across your vineyard site. Cooler coastal regions tend to favour Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, while inland areas open you up to more options from Merlot, Cabernet, Zinfandel and Syrah. You'll also want to research the market demand in the context of current plantings for specific grapes in Sonoma County. For instance, right now, Cabernet Sauvignon vines are more plentiful than there are buyers, creating excess supply this season. So planting more Cab isn't necessarily wise unless you've got contracts lined up already with interested winery buyers, even years before your full first harvest. So resist chasing short-term trends and focus on varietals that will help you achieve your wine goals while matching the potential for the site. And also focus on those with strong sustained market demand from winemakers. I mean, that's never going to hurt. Assuming you're not just going to lease out the land to someone else to farm, and you're not going to dedicate your entire life to learning how to farm the grapes and hiring your own farm hands, you'll need to hire a vineyard management company to provide a full vineyard management service. So just in Sonoma County, there's probably 10 or 12 different, good vineyard management companies, ranging from large companies like Redwood Empire Vineyard Management, which are, they're a large company providing a full service for high-end clients. And because they're large and have a large infrastructure, they're expensive. But if you are looking for your vineyard to look amazing, they'll do a great job. One of the big challenges in finding companies that is a good match for you is the size of vineyard you're looking to have managed. For many vineyard management companies, they'll ideally want to manage a minimum of 8 acres because of the scale in the economies this brings. However, if you have 20 acres, you want to make sure you choose a company that has the bandwidth to take it on and do a great job. If you have half an acre of a hobby vineyard, you'll need to find a specialist in hobby vineyard management to take care of it. And it will definitely cost you proportionately more pro rata per acre. If you are trying to grow premium fruit, then you want to use a vineyard management company that has a track record of producing the best fruit. For example, Jesse Katz is known for managing his vineyards to an incredibly high level of detail. Tri-Valley Vineyard Management is the company that does some of his vineyard management. So if you are looking at pursuing those high standards, they would be a good company to potentially partner with to achieve a premium result, but it will definitely come at a price. So you've planted the vines, you've paid for them to be cared for, and are waiting for them to bear their first fruit. Well, you have a number of options when it comes to monetizing the fruit, which have varying degrees of risk reward. At one end of the scale, you can actually just lease the land to a winery for them to plant, they manage it and harvest the grapes. However, because there's a significant investment required on their part, you'll most likely need to sign a long lease, a long contract from 10 to even 20 years with options for extending or curtailing to suit both parties. The beauty of this model is that they pay for everything, the hardware, the irrigation, the vines, literally everything. And this is a great option for somebody who wants to live among vineyards but not have the hassle or capital outlay to farm the land, but equally there will be no additional profits. At the other end of the scale, you can do all the hard work to develop the vineyard, pay for all the ongoing management of the vineyard, and then you get all the income from selling the grapes, hopefully at a profit. But there is also a hybrid approach whereby you work with a winery or winemaker to develop the vineyard, plant certain varietals that they're looking for, and then they sign a contract for say 5 years to take the fruit at a guaranteed price. I mean, there is no right and wrong way to do it. It just depends on your overall goals. Clearly, the way to potentially make the most profit is actually develop your own wine brand and sell your own estate wine. I mean, this is definitely the high risk, high reward route, but supremely rewarding if you can make it happen. You can also get creative about how you think about maximizing the value of the grapes. For example, a friend of mine grows Cabernet Sauvignon in Dry Creek Valley, but he actually sells the fruit to a Napa winery who makes Napa Cabernet using the fruit blended with fruit from Napa Valley. As long as a wine has 50% or more fruit from Napa, you can call it a Napa Cabernet. By doing this, he actually gets more per ton for the Cabernet than he would selling it to a Sonoma winemaker because of the higher prices a Napa Cabernet commands. And there are so many different ways you can approach setting up and managing a vineyard to make the vineyard look the nicest, to make it produce the most fruit, to produce the best quality fruit, to make wine that you like. I mean, the options are literally endless. And there is no right and wrong, but every decision you make along the way will have a knock-on effect to the end result. So if you're looking for help on how to navigate this journey, then please do call me. We work with both buyers and sellers on vineyard property transactions across Sonoma County. So I'd love to help you realize your dream. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy the next one on screen right now.